Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great one. Before I get too deep into this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you guys can stay up to date with my videos. Again, thank you guys for the support, and here we go. So as usual, I'm going to give you guys the weekly games that happened over the week 5 of the NFL. You guys just stay tuned and we'll go game by game and I'll talk to you guys a little bit about each game. All right, first game up is the Thursday night game between the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams quickly go to their run game. Henderson and Sonny Michel both visited the well of celebration once. Henderson had 82 yards from 17 carries. Matthew Stafford did more of Matthew Stafford things, throwing for 365 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, and was sacked once. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Deshaun Jackson combined for 310 yards on 20 of 27 targets. The Seahawks lost Russell Wilson in this one after he went 11 for 16, 152 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, and was sacked twice. His replacement, Geno Smith, went 10 for 17, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 INT. DK Metcalf did what he could, catching the ball on all 5 of his targets and reaching the end zone twice. Seattle runs out of hope at home as they fall to the Rams 26-17. The Rams are now 4-1, while the Hawks are 2-3. Game 2 was played across the pond in London. I wish we had given our British friends 2 expansion teams with the Jets and the Falcons, and they would not be missed by the entire NFL. They could play each other weekly in London, and this could be a decent thing for them. The Falcons jumped out to a 20-3 lead at half. Matty Ice went 33 of 45 with 342 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also, get this, he didn't have any fumbles. The Falcons also got Kyle Pitts involved as he had his coming out party, catching 9 of his 10 targets for 119 yards and a touchdown. Cordarrelle Patterson pitched in 114 all-purpose yards. The Jets battled back through their defense, recovering 2 fumbles. Zach Wilson continued his pedestrian-like ways, going 19 for 32, 166 yards, 1 pick, and was sacked twice. The Falcons win this one 27-20 and move to 2-3, while the Jets are now 1-4. Game 3 will be forever referred to as the Thornt Bowl. These kickers are missing field goals all day. The kickers were combined 4 for 9 on field goals and 3 for 4 on PATs. McPherson for the Bengals was 0 for 2, but managed to hit the flag draped to the outside of the goalpost on one of his kicks. The Packers' Mason Crosby went 4 for 7. I felt like I was watching kickers do successive bracketing with footballs. If you're artillery or you're a veteran, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Basically, you're trying to zero your leg with footballs. Aaron Rodgers went 27 for 39, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, and was sacked twice. The AJ gang, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, ran for 133 yards on 22 carries. Joe Burrow finally cooled off as he went 26 for 38, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs, and was sacked 3 times. Jamar Chase had 159 yards after being targeted 10 times, catching 6 of them. The Bengals dropped this one and fall to 3-2, while the Packers stay atop the NFC North at 4-1. Game 4 was an NFC North showdown between the Vikings and the best defensive minds in the NFL and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are masterful in their tanking efforts. They look like they want to win. Hell, their head coach even comes to the podium crying during the post-game conferences. Jared Goff didn't cry, but he should have after going 21 of 35, 180 yards, 1 INT, and was sacked 4 times. The run game produced only 108 yards on the day. You Like That Cousins went 25 for 34, 264 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, and was sacked twice. With Dalvin Cook sidelined, Madison went to work, amassing 153 all-purpose yards and one trip to pay dirt. Justin Jefferson pitched in 7 catches for 124 yards on 8 targets. The Vikings are now 2-3, while the Lions remain winless at 0-5. Game 5 is between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos. Teddy B passed for 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, and was sacked twice. Melvin Gordon and Devontae Williams compiled 95 yards on the ground. Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick tried their best to propel the Broncos in the win column. They caught 14 of their 20 targets for 209 yards and 1 touchdown. Big Ben apparently got his extra dose of prune juice in the senior-assisted home this week. He went 15 for 25, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, and was sacked once. Najee Harris helped the offense get it rolling, running the ball for 122 yards and a touchdown. Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson picked up the slack for Juju, who left the game. They caught 7 of their 8 targets for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Steelers get a much-needed win as they move to 2-3. The Broncos are now on a 2-game skid and fall to 3-2. Game 6 brought the Miami Dolphins up the road to visit the defending Super Bowl champs. Tampa Bay jumped on their little brothers in the second quarter after being down 10-7 in the first. Jacoby Brissett passed for 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, and was sacked 3 times. Myles Gaskin gained 99 all-purpose yards and scored twice. However, it wasn't enough as old man Brady laid the Dolphins to rest. Brady went 30 for 41, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns, and was sacked twice. Antonio Brown and Mike Evans caught 13 of their 16 targets, and both had 2 touchdowns on the day as Leonard Fournette ran for 67 yards and reached pay dirt once as the Tampa Bay rolled and moved to 4-1 as the Dolphins fall to 2-3. 1-4. Game 7 lined up the New Orleans Saints and the Washington football team. Taylor Heinicke apparently had a no-touchdown clause in his contract for this week. He went 20 for 41, 242 yards, 2 picks, and was sacked twice. Antonio Gibson gained 60 yards and scored twice on the ground. Some guy named Adam Humphries led the Washington football team in receiving with 73 yards. James gave us more of that ugly but effective football. He went 15 for 30, 271 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 INT, and was sacked twice. Alvin Kamara helped shore up the win, going in for 122 all-purpose yards and 2 scores. Antonio Callaway had 2 touchdowns through the air as well. The Saints come away with the road win and move to 3-2, while Washington football team drops to 2-3. Game 8 is the first shocker of the evening. The Eagles get a much-needed win over the Carolina Panthers. Hurts failed to register a passing touchdown, so he ran 2 of them in. He passed for 182 yards, 1 INT, and was sacked twice. The Eagles' run game consisted of just 61 yards on 13 carries. Devontae Smith had 77 yards on 8 targets, but he lost a fumble. The Jets have placed a hex on Donald again. He passed for 158 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 INTs and was sacked 3 times. Chuba Herbert tried to hold it down again, gaining 134 all-purpose yards. No wide receiver had more than 42 yards for the Panthers. The Eagles come away with this one in a head-scratcher, 21-18, and move to 2-3. The Panthers are on a 2-game skid as well, moving to 3-2 on the season. Game 9 was between the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ryan Tannehill had pedestrian type of numbers on the day. He passed for 184 yards, 1 touchdown, and was sacked 3 times. King Henry ran through the Jaguars' defense all game. He put up 130 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. The Jaguars tried to respond with getting J-Rob going for 149 yards and 1 touchdown. Trevor Lawrence couldn't get it going, throwing for 256 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 INT. The Jags lose this one by 18 at home. They are now 0 for 5, while the Titans move into first place in their division at 3-2. I just don't understand how the Jacksonvilles are coming out to compete with all the different things going on in their organization. At this point, I consider them tanking as well. Game 10 was between the New England Patriots and the Houston Texans. I think I have to insult Davis Mills again. My last public service announcement got him rolling apparently. He balled out today. He passed for 293 yards, 3 touchdowns, and was sacked 3 times. And get this, no interceptions, no fumbles. Chris Moore and Chris Conley both caught a touchdown and combined for 193 yards through the air. The run game was a non-factor, running the ball for 23 times for 65 yards. The Pats had a collective effort as a team. Mac and Cheese went for 226 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, and was sacked once. You got to do everything at least once. Damian Harris ran for 58 yards and a score. The Pats had 5 wide receivers with multiple catches, and 3 of them averages were more than 10 yards per catch. Is this a sign that the training wheels are about to come off for Mac and Cheese? The Pats won a close one, 25-22, and are now 2-3, while the Texans dropped to 1-4. Game 11 was the Khalil Mack Bowl. The Chicago Bears took on the Las Vegas Raiders. Justin Fields went 12 for 20, 109 yards, 1 touchdown, and was sacked twice. The Bears got the run game going early. Khalil Herbert and Damian Williams combined for 139 yards and 1 touchdown. Carr removed himself from the MVP race by passing for 188 yards, 1 INT, and was sacked 3 times. The Raiders failing to get the passing game going was the difference in this one. Khalil Mack gets his revenge on the Raiders. Bears win this one 20-9, go to 3-2, and the Raiders are now on a 2-game skid as well, dropping to 3-2. Could this be the downward spiral of the Las Vegas Raiders after their season was going so well? I wonder how this John Gruden news affects this team going forward. Game 12 is between 2 Super Bowl contenders in the AFC, the Cleveland Browns and the Los Angeles Chargers. Baker Mayfield went 23 of 32, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, and was sacked once. Nick Chubb ran through the LA defense all afternoon. He ran for 161 yards and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt pitched in as well as he visited the pylon twice. The big shock was David Njoku catching all 7 of his targets for 149 yards and 1 touchdown. Justin Herbert hit the Cleveland defense with a not so fast, my friend. He passed for 381 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and was sacked twice. Austin Eckler got into the mix as well as he visited end zone 3 times with a total of 119 all-purpose yards. It was Mike Will that was the difference. He caught 8 of his 16 targets for 165 yards and 2 tubbies. The Chargers win this game 47-42 at home. The Bolts are now 4-1, while the Browns fall to 3-2. Game 13 was between the Cowboys and the Giants. Daniel Jones left the game after he was thinking he was Mike Allstott during the goal line appearance. He had 98 yards passing. In comes Mike Glennon. Yes, he is still in the league. Mike Glennon went 16 for 25, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 INTs. The G-Men also lost Saquon Barkley due to an ankle injury after he carried the ball 2 times for 9 yards. In come his replacement, Devontae Booker, which filled in nicely as he ran for 42 yards on the ground, caught a touchdown and ran in a touchdown once as well. Kadarius Toney got a chance to show off his explosiveness. He caught 10 of his 13 targets for 189 yards. None of this was enough to keep Dallas out of the win column. Dak went 22 for 32, 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT, and was sacked twice. Zeke gains 110 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. CeeDee Lamb had a touchdown on the day, but Dalton Schultz continued to be a part of this offense. He caught 6 of his 8 targets for 79 yards as the Cowboys moved to 4-1, while the G-Men dropped to 1-4. Game 14 was an NFC matchup between the 49ers and the Cardinals. Rookie Trey Lance got the start, but not the win. Although he passed for 186 yards and ran for 89, he didn't register any touchdowns. Lance had a pick and was sacked twice. Kyler Murray went 22 of 31, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, and was sacked twice. Rondale Moore was the leading rusher with 39 yards, although it was Connor who scored the lone rushing touchdown of the day. D-Hop pitched in with catching 6 of his 9 targets for 89 yards and 1 touchdown. Arizona offense cooled off, but it was enough to get the dub. They stay undefeated as the Niners drop to 2-3 and they go to 5-0. The last game of the evening was the Sunday Night Football game, which is also a rematch of the AFC Championship from last year. The Bills are taking on the Chiefs. This was another Dawson Knox sighting. He caught 3 of his 4 targets for 117 yards and a touchdown. Diggs pitched in 69 yards, while Emmanuel Sanders caught 2 touchdowns in the air as well. Josh Allen finished with 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. He also led the team in rushing with 59 yards. Mr. Ketchup on my steak Mahomes went 33 for 54, 2 touchdowns, and 2 INTs. He also led his team in rushing with 61 yards. The wide receiver group of the Chiefs were held in check. One wide receiver had more than 75 yards, while only one wide receiver scored. Kelsey caught 6 of his 10 targets for 57 yards and 1 touchdown. The Bills take care of the Chiefs 38-20. They improved to 4-1 as the Chiefs find themselves in no man's land at 2-3. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.